Our Value of Advice ebook and podcast series is proudly sponsored by MediHelp.
I had a very good experience from the day I started earning an income as a nurse. And that's well written up. Nora Dupree in the Personal Finance magazine in those days did a little story about me when I got the Financial Planner of the Year award. And I've been consistent. I started off with a nursing where you look after somebody, it's too late, to then having also in that same time period earned a stipend. I think we earned 140 Rand a month. We got our board and lodging free, and you worked a 40-hour week. And the idea was there was my parents' financial planner was a chap called Gary Kamiak, who is still in the industry.
Yes.
And he was prepared to take the time to educate me because I was probably quite precocious. And we got to a stage where I was saving about a third of my income. And so in those days, there were 3-unit trusts. I think it was Cyprus, Guard Bank, and something else, or Mutual maybe. And, by the time I went and did ran a restaurant, medical, that's pretty much out there. I think you know that.
Yeah.
So, I then approached him and said, look, I've taken your advice, but actually I want a relationship with people for life. And I want to be able to make a difference before they realize that they've retired with too little or died with too little or been disabled. So it was very much how do we help those that want to deal with me to give them insight into what their position was. And so initially the industry was very much, you went and got trained at a company, life insurance company. And you don't have to mention this, but Liberty Life in those days actually was pretty good in that they gave you the training on a manuals-based financial needs analysis, and then they gave you a book with actuarial tables. Having said that, it was pre-phase and compliance. So what you perhaps did with that knowledge wasn't measured or managed. But anyway, to that extent, I try to find a way of making sure that everybody who met with me was taken through a very rudimentary financial needs analysis and could get an insight into exactly in today's rands how much they would get if they retired when they were 65, died, were disabled or sick. So that was my focus, and I've stayed true to that. And I'm still in my first client, thank God. I think he still talks to me. So I think it was very much product based though. So it was commission based. I think the evolution was we started with a floppy disk drive and Lotus Notes.
I remember that.
Then you got a hard disk trying to get client information together and try and deliver a standardized level of care. It was very new, and it was very quickly. We started fee-based financial planning in certain circumstances. You're right there. Okay. And probably 1998 or 99, we started with fee-based financial planning where there was no risk requirement to try to move away from the good old upfront commissions on investment products. There still were instances where that was used, but you try to make the term as low as the 10-year endowments, which kind of has some tax advantages. But having said that, the unit trust market, the platforms are very new. Again, they weren't always reliable in terms of when I talk platforms, I'm talking about where you could have a variety of managed funds and you could, with input from external people in those days, I used to meet with some industry experts to say, well, I've got a client, they need inflation plus 5. How are we going to deliver this? And they would assist me construct a portfolio, but then you would need a platform. So we had UAL and TMA. And I think in 97, there was a bit of a correction in the market. And I don't think TMA could cope with the switches.
I remember.
That was like how to destroy your practice and your client's trust in one week. The industry was lumpy. I think the rise of technology helped us. So when I brought in partners and we landed up with Microsoft Office and Lotus, it certainly helped us deliver a consistent advice across. So you weren't looking at unique client files to try and go, I gave John that because it was good based on my meeting. What am I giving Philip? So the sort of software tools, on a base, we wrote our own software in 1987. And we still continue to develop our own customized tools to make sure we give consistent advice. and talk about the changes in the advice space. And I think it's the tools as well that have helped. So we've had the awareness of clients through many media campaigns to make sure clients are exposed to proper needs-based financial planning, and the certified financial planner, Mark, and the work of the Financial Planning Institute has been invaluable in that space to set the standards of what should be done and the six-step process, which I'm sure. But the phase act has certainly improved the technical training, the exams, the ongoing CPD. Um, it's hard to work out what CPD is effective and what isn't, but you've got to start somewhere. But I think all those improvements in the standard of care given to clients or investors and the protections for them, if I look to the UK and Australia, this over-regulation done by often regulators who've never had a financial plan done because they're probably on a guaranteed pension, so they don't need it, or they're on a pension fund where they can't influence the investment options. They all lack of affordability, but for some reason, we are not landing up in the UK and Australia with access to financial planning that is affordable, reliable, coaching based. It's needs based, got died, so you need a financial plan. You go buy a financial plan. You retire and you get a lump sum, and now you need to go and pay someone to give you advice. So I think we need to, there's a sweet spot between regulation and compliance. And what guarantees or provides the best platform to facilitate that a client lands acknowledged, informed, and able to make smart decisions, but then they get that ongoing maintenance.
Yeah.
Uh, at the moment, the big institutions, the big industry funds, and not the client are winning that game. And so we need to be very careful in South Africa where you've got the statistics. The average South African has not provided for retirement, has not provided for disability or family estate planning. And so how do we make sure that we're not giving them a 300-page record of advice
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
having to charge for that? But then they walk away because they go, I'm not going to read this, or I'm not going to do my budget because it's too hard. So I think the regulators don't understand that it's getting the data out of the client that's often the hardest part of the job. Then you assemble a comprehensive solution, and it's expensive. It takes time.
Yeah.
I think I'm talking in circles. I'm going a bit off piece. But my father died in the UK, and the person that sold him a life insurance policy had long gone. Call centers, which were cheaper, were disinterested, and actually trying to get the claims sorted from South Africa was ridiculous. He died in the UK.
Yeah.
In the old days, you'd have your advisor, you'd find Debbie or Netto, and there'd be somebody that was related that knew you or knew your kids and would actually take away that pain. Now, now it's into the sort of what the regulators are looking for. And I'm not sure they understand that. And so my challenge would be to give every person that works within the regulatory environment an opportunity to come along to us and have a fee-based financial plan and understand what the process could unlock. And they'd be in control and they could make smart choices regardless of where the funding is coming from. And I think if we could try and encourage every advisor to make sure every client gets almost forced to walk that path. I've only got R1,000 to invest. Yes, but we need to take you through a financial planning process. Yes, I only want some cover for my bond. Yes. However, before we do that, we need to take you through a proper financial planning process. And that's where some of the tools can help nowadays. I mean, we never used to have this. I used to have to do dial-up. We used to have to drive in our car to Worcester to see somebody that might need to help, might need some financial advice. So I think that probably is the biggest evolution is once the client is engaged and embedded and trusted and trusts the team, helping them is so much easier because you've got these wonderful tools. I can be in Johannesburg and Janet can need me in Rondebosch and I can help her.
Yeah.
But doing what we're doing right now. And so I think that's great for the consumer. I think that's great for the advisor, but it does start with a face-to-face meeting, and it does start. We cannot send a record of advice to a client or a questionnaire and expect it that's going to arrive back in our inbox. Financial planning is not like getting a divorce. Sign the form to a lawyer
Yeah.
sends you. You can't. When you use a lawyer to buy a house, you're not going to get the house or sell the house unless you sign the forms. And they give you a whack of forms and you just look through them and you sign. You don't read them.
Yeah,
So
no
to
idea.
expect a client to be sent a budget sheet to fill in and then to be sent who are your policies with, who are your investments with. Many clients don't understand what they've got and where they have it. If you're a doctor and you arrive in a coma, the doctor just does all the tests. They don't explain that you might die from you might die from the dye they put into you to work out where your tumor is.
Yeah.
So I hope probably, as I say, you're going to have to see what I've said.
Yes.
So I think FIRES did help in that there is a lot more consistency and good advice available to the consumer. When I was awarded Financial Planner of the Year, it was like a turning point for us, and that clients that were already with Netto and already had trusted us. I think I've been an advisor already for 20 years. It was 2001. So whatever it was, 14 years. And we had clients that there was also a bit of a doubting tolerance. We all have that. And I think that went away. And then obviously you'll talk about with Ian what got into that obviously helped substantially as we So I employed a lawyer to try and help me deliver financial planning, and we had Amazon. And the idea was she would do the para planning. So that was the kind of what we did and how we started. So that was 29 years, almost 30 years ago. I employed a lawyer as a para planner, and that helped as well. I don't think you can't have a one-man band to consistently look after clients and know everything. We work in a far too diverse an environment to say Debbie knows everything. So the first thing I did was I had somebody external that helped me put together a portfolio of managed funds to advise clients to invest to achieve an outcome. I had accountants that would do the work in terms of estate cash flow or tax planning if need be. And I would act as a GP. So my kid, Michael, when he was about 6, was at a party in Macau and said, what does your daddy do? And everyone put their hands up. And what does your mommy do? With their hands up. And Michael says, my mommy is a nurse and she runs a money hospital. So in those days, nurses were trained to run a multidisciplinary team where the patient was at the center. You weren't qualified you weren't the doctor, but your job was to make sure the patient got what they needed from the professional team, as well as the cleaner, as well as the person feeding you. I think I took that process into financial planning. We documented everything we did for clients and how we did it. And we had perfect filing system. And I think when Ian Beard joined me, he couldn't believe that we basically had written records of every client and why we'd done what we'd done. We did the best we could in the days pre-scanning. So that, hope I've answered your question.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. So basically what I wanted to ask you is if you sat in front of a few financial advisors who qualified and who's been a year or so in the business, what are some of the things that you would want to leave with them that they might only pick up in 5-6 years after they've started as a qualified person?
I think consider a team approach to delivering best practice financial planning. They need to be able to communicate in a way that their clients aren't baffled by terms and be humble, because clients are very fearful when they see a financial planner. It's a scary moment. They're being asked some deep personal questions, and regardless of how intelligent the client might be, they all feel that they're with you because they don't feel competent to do the work themselves. And communicate when you do the right thing, communicate when you aren't sure, clarify all the time. So I think carry on studying. It's a journey for life. Never stop learning. There are new things, and be independent. I really believe you need to be independent and represent the client best interest at all time.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. That's probably one of the most difficult things, is that one.
Yeah, which is why I have a lot of paraplanners and article financial planners. They come with us with great qualifications, and we mentor them and guide them through all the aspects of financial planning. And over the 35 years, some have become shareholders at Netto, as some have become profit sharing partners. But at the end of the day, everybody is a home for everybody in a well-run financial planning practice. And, our partners that I've managed to find, it wasn't overnight. It's been a 35-year journey of trial and error, but be prepared to try to do the right thing, because generally what it might cost you, but financially it's never going to cost you from an integrity point of view.
Absolutely.
And that's all you have as a financial planner is integrity.
Yeah. No, that's the biggest asset. Absolutely.
Well,
No, you helped a lot.
All right.
You helped a lot.
all right.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.